Like visions, sensations, voices, Jesus Christ, archangels, blue avians, God, anything, anyone. I really wanted to share today my story, my journey to finding the reconnection. In case you don't know of Dr. Eric Pearl and what the reconnection or the reconnective healing is, I will make sure to post something. I'm now making multiple videos based on healing and awakening. No known audience yet, as of today, making this video. But I know there are some of you who will eventually resonate with me because this is how I ended up being here. And I'm not worried about the outcome of what I'm doing here or how my videos will be perceived by others, because I have this knowing that the divine universe is communicating with me through synchronicities. So I trust my guidance. But obviously, I was not always like this at all. In fact, if you were my friends, family members, or if you've just met me not so long ago, you wouldn't know what to think of this. I was far from ever being the healing type. In fact, I was always too busy being the victim myself. But then I woke up. I woke up quite suddenly in 2017. Late 2017 to be more precise. And whoa, that's like yesterday, isn't it? Yeah, it is. But it feels like it's already been eons and eons. It's the strangest thing. I didn't even know how to use the word like divine or synchronicity until then. I was an atheist, agnostic. I didn't even know the difference. I didn't even care. I was completely ignorant, totally and utterly unconscious. I didn't know I was even unconscious. I was that unconscious. But then, now here are some of the symptoms that I'm experiencing. Not just seeing the numbers, like 11, 11, 12, 12, 12, 21, 3, 3, 3, 4, different combinations and orders and such. Every time I see any, I wake up in the middle of the night exactly at 2:22 or 3:33. I started having visions of geometry, sparks of lights, orbs. My hands and feet started vibrating. In fact, my whole body vibrates now. I have prickly needles all over my spines, legs, head. My ears ring, of course, and I can even hear my eyeballs. I can also see intentions of people when I listen to them, and have visions of mapped out origins and patterns of their thoughts. Well, at least I think I do anyway. I get downloads of information seemingly from source that's not mine. Well, again, I think I do anyway. I do have lucid dreams, and now I've had multiple outer body experiences. And on and off, I have periods of time. I can feel the vibration as my astral body starts to separate. And I look around and see pain, and all I want to do is to find ways to help and heal them. Did I just say heal? Who is this person? I don't even know. I've never been identified as spiritual, psychic, or intuitive ever. I never saw or talked to angels as a child. I didn't have any special visits from the ETs. I don't have telepathy or X-ray visions. And during my younger years, I did sense that I had a purpose. But it wasn't like those heroic stories you hear from many people, like how they always knew that they had a great mission or something to help humanity and the animal kingdom and to save the Mother Earth. No, mine wasn't like that at all, but I did work very hard on fulfilling my sense of purpose by putting different names on them. I tried really hard doing this and became a workaholic doing that. I guess because I was always told that the hard work was supposed to come with this great payoff in the end. But that kind of never came. Then I didn't know I was supposed to be a baker, an employee somewhere, or an artist, or a singer. Actually, definitely not a singer. But then, for so long, I just decided to stay busy fulfilling my yearning and wanting, competing and being better than others and catching up to someone who seemed to have accomplished more and have more stuff and speak more languages and travel more and have more interests and hobbies and talents. And yeah, but that never got me anywhere either. Then, for a while, I told myself to be humble. Just get a job, any job, 9 to 5. I don't care. Be humble and just be responsible. And I couldn't even get that to work. Something was seriously off, and I didn't know what. There was always this residual confusion and discomfort in the ways things worked, and how everyone else was operating just fine. I couldn't understand how other people, like that guy, could succeed and I could not. Why? I felt alone and felt completely betrayed by life itself. I kept trying and trying until my sense of purpose gradually turned into anxiety, one failure at a time. And that went on for many years. What I didn't know then was that I was doing it all myself. Well, I thought I was the victim of unfortunate circumstances. But now, get this, I somehow know that things happen exactly the way they're supposed to, and I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm relaxed and quite confident knowing what I'm supposed to be. And while it's not even close to being 100% of the time, still I can't tell you enough what a relief that is. And this whole thing unfolding is I'm still going through this process of awakening thing. The reconnective healing seemed to have triggered or quickened the process somehow. All I can gather now in retrospect is that I somehow managed to strip open the membrane at the threshold in between consciousness as I went through it. Well, so here's how my little journey began. Ever since my awakening, I've been on the search for a ground-shaking, undeniable experience, a confirmation of my multidimensionality. And I wanted something tangible, actually like a skill, so that I can prove it to other people. So I thought I would acquire a credible education that would result in a vocation of some sort, right? Thinking that that would result as my purpose. And as I was going deep into the rabbit hole expedition, every week or sometimes every other day, declaring, I finally found what I'm supposed to do. And each time I found a spiritual modality, this, or a scholarship, that, of some kind. It was almost comical how I thought, this is it, this is the one, each time. But of course, the next day or so, I would find something else, better or closer, and change my mind. So in the end of all the theology and metaphysical scholarship and modalities, I chose none. And then I got certified to become a health coach. I started out genuinely wanting to help others. I was driven by my sudden and unexplainable desire to relieve everyone from their pain. And I thought I was going to be the answer. But then eventually I got frustrated getting through to them. They were just so resistant. And really trying to get them to see what I was seeing was less than enlightening, to say the least. I often felt so gross inside and defeated after the conversations. Clearly needed help, but then they didn't seem to want it at the same time. What? So confused. So I thought, okay, maybe I was being way too far out, so they just couldn't accept me, right? So then eventually, all I wanted was to get a conventional qualification to be right, because I thought that's how I could get through to them. Then at some point, my purpose turned into just this desperate need to be heard. Well, I don't need to tell you how that one worked out. Really distorted. Yeah. But then eventually I woke up from the distortion, thank God. Then I continued on with my expedition. But to be honest, I was starting to get a bit discouraged because every time I found something, and as I got into it, at first I would just gobble up all the great information. Then somewhere in the middle, I would almost always sense something that they're making stuff up and forcefully constructing forms and techniques and steps and tweaks, and just for the sake of their ownership. And they all seem to somehow promise so much for techniques so rigid. It just didn't make sense to me. It didn't feel right. Then one day, I found videos by Case of everyday masters. Once I found him, it was as easy as 1, 2, 3. Just didn't have to think or second guess anything. His information was seeping through me like rainwater in dry, thirsty soil. I don't know. I easily resonated with everything he was saying. In one of his videos, he talks about the reconnective frequency and the book, The Reconnection by Dr. Eric Pearl. And he said that in the book says that just by reading it, you would start to feel this frequency in your hands. And he said he did. Okay, so that was enough for me to order the book right there. And that very night, I felt the frequency in my little hands. And this miraculousness did not even surprise me for some reason. I didn't know why, but it did not feel supernatural or out of this world. It felt right, like it was always mine. I still don't know how to explain this, but it was like a deja vu. On their website, it says Reconnective healing completely transcends traditional energy healing techniques. It allows us to let go of the concept, approach, and even the need for technique itself, while including the benefits of all known energy healing methods. It's neither a therapy nor treatment, as it does not focus on symptoms. It is something much, much more. Wow. Yes. So it's not even a technique? I thought, I found it. I knew it existed. So it turns out the Case is a reconnective healing practitioner. So I got in touch and had multiple distance sessions. After the first session, I decided to start my own online course to be a reconnective healing practitioner. As easy as 1, 2, 3. No resistance, no inner voice. One synchronicity led to another. Like even one day, as I just finished my online course and needed to make a decision on the next big step. A couple of Jehovah's Witness people came to my door, which they do quite often. But this time, they handed me a brochure that said, "Keep doing this in remembrance of me." So I got goosebumps all over and jumped on one of them, hugged so tight and said, thank you for the message. And I hugged the other one too, I think. And I probably scared them because I haven't seen them ever since. So that afternoon, I went ahead and paid for the live class with Dr. Eric Pearl. One of the requirements for the live class is to have your own session from a practitioner. So I did that with Case, but it didn't require the personal reconnection, but I wanted it because of what I've heard. And Case also said, you can thank me later. I cannot explain what the reconnection is myself, so I took this from Everyday Master's website. So here it is. The personal reconnection is a 2-day process that reconnects your energy grid with the larger grid of the planet and the universe. This is done by lying in a fifth dimensional set of accitonal lines over your current meridian lines, essentially resparking the antennas at the edges of our bodies. Once this reconnection is complete, the communication between you and your higher self becomes stronger and stronger. The whispers in your ear from your higher self that you have ignored and never trusted will become so loud and clear, you will start to sense immediately what is right for you and what is not. And what is not will start to dissolve from your life to be replaced by experiences that are right for you. Sounds amazing, right? And right before I had my personal reconnection, I received the art crystal, Nassim Haramein's technology. And nothing changed. I didn't acquire superpowers. I thought I was supposed to be visited by a spacecraft assigned especially to me and take me in and give me all the information I need to help others, all in telepathy. Something like that. No, that didn't happen. Well, anyway, but I'm really not sure when my expedition turned into an expectation. I really don't. So when I got to the reconnection session with Case, I was waiting. Visions, sensations, voices, Jesus Christ, archangels, blue avians, God, anything, anyone. Levitation, OBE, portals, dimensional shifts, where are they? So at some point I really had to start telling myself, as long as you expect, it's not gonna work. So don't expect and quiet your mind. Just quiet your mind. So what did I see? Well, they were like mind's eye kind of, is it not images, or can they even be called images? I can't say. They were shapeless shapes, undefinable colors. In fact, I don't even know if I saw colors at all. They were staticky something, I think. Or do I? I don't know. It was silent. And so I concluded that I saw absolutely nothing. Well, it was sort of something, but my judgment told me that it was more nothing than something. Just undefinable, abstract, blank. Yeah. Silent blank. I blanked out? Did I screw up and miss the whole thing somehow? Was it all a waste? I did feel some stuff, like floating and the eyes twitching and squeezing tightly, involuntary muscle movements and tingling sensations. I did have suspended sense of body too, feeling of changing directions, and I thought I saw multiple morphing faces and eyes. But all these things I had already experienced similarly, if not more intensely, with the distant group sessions with Case. Okay, so I cried for no reasons when I was seeing, or I thought I was seeing, those morphing faces. So that was different than the distant session. I did feel like I was bawling though when one of the faces turned into a big smile. Well, so I thought. But Case said that just a few tears, like quiet tears, were falling. So were they real? Or was I just justifying them as I was making them all up in my head? Just because I wanted to experience something so badly. Couldn't tell. Plus, I was looking for something else that didn't already happen. I was only looking for the extraordinary. something visible, loud, and clear, and something that I can tell people, oh, my body floated up in the air. And after the sessions were over, things seemed exactly the same as before. No lights flickering, no light bulbs exploding, no entities showing up, no UFOs, no particularly profound feeling making me cry looking at the birds or the trees or the sunset. I was as annoyed and frustrated with little things as usual, and my days went by as it's always been. Oh, but I did keep seeing the master numbers and 1111. I also forgot to mention that when I got to the first session, my phone said 11:33. When we got to the hotel room after the session and late lunch, the clock in the hotel room said 3:33, and our room number was 633. And I also woke up exactly at 3:33 a.m. after the first session. I still needed a proof. I was still looking and waiting. I needed more than digital numbers. Anything else, any other kind of confirmation that I got something out of the session. Ridiculous. I was totally on my way to successfully discredit, ignore, and even discard all of these anomalies because none of them qualified under my pre-existing expectations. Then a few days later, a thought suddenly popped in my head. It went something like, when we become conscious, we start to pay attention. And as a result, we start to witness more. Because, well, the universe is a rhythm and it's a series of frequencies. And my life also holds a certain frequency. It's just that I never noticed it before. When we start seeing the numbers, it's telling us that we no longer take any of this for granted. Because the truth is, it's always been there. It's always been the same, the law, the truth. We just suddenly see it differently, or we now see it, period. And that seeing is what changes us, and ultimately the whole universe, one person at a time. I thought, oh, so that's like awakening. Well, I've been seeing the numbers, haven't I? But I feel like I was starting to take them for granted because they didn't seem to signify much of anything after a while. Okay. So that was a bit clever sounding, though could have been better and more articulate with choices of words and expressions. So that was that, and my day went on like nothing happened. It's quite fascinating to me now that in one moment I feel like a magnificent being connected to everything, yet in another moment I completely forget that. It's gone. And it just feels like the sobering morning after, the night of partying, if you know what I mean. So, but then the day after that, I heard a passage saying, there is a perfection in the process. Then immediately heard in my head, trust it. Then suddenly, in my everyday mundane moment, I was so overwhelmed, feeling that I'm at exactly where I'm supposed to be, exactly at the right moment. And the biggest smile came over me. I was ecstatic. So much so that tears came out and I was crying. Then suddenly, I merged with my past self, lying on the table during my reconnection session with the tears. And I realized it was the same tears. And the smile that I saw with my mind's eye at the session that made me cry was me. This me. And I realized that I was remembering. And so in that moment was the same silence, and same nothingness, the same silent blank. Only this time it was full, so full, like the most amazing music filling your whole entire body, like expansion. You know that feeling of expansion when you're filled with this amazing music? So there was no scale, no beginning or the end. I can't really explain it. So then the next passage came. You cannot experience that which you do not know, and you cannot be that which you do not experience. I went, oh my God, I think I get it now. Or at least I know that I eventually will. I felt still and calm inside. Okay, so it turns out the experiential ways that it unfolds is unexpected. And I could not have come up with a better way. It's so clever. It was almost as if it made sure to wait till I got out of the way. But of course, right? I knew that. I just had to stop trying. Both trying to manifest something I expect and want, and trying not to. I reminded myself of a spoiled brat who gets a cupcake and says, I wanted ice cream. I thought to myself, this is how we miss stuff. This is how we don't see the truth. We so often don't even see the ice cream in front of us because we're expecting a cupcake. So, were those whispers loud and clear enough? Yeah. And speaking of loud, after this, all 6 of our smoke alarms went off all at the same time for no reason for a few minutes, and then they all stopped at the same time. Then after that, our brand new car's electronics, monitors, and such, they all went completely dead. Loud and clear? I think so. So I'll be making more videos on the reconnective healing frequency, relating through our consciousness, DNAs, and the pyramid power. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.